Hey everybody, this is going to be as short as I possibly can because it's another one of Greg Abbott's State of the Union crap. No, not State of the Union, State of the State address. That's what it's called. My Texas Governor Greg Abbott came out with an address back as far back as Thursday, and I've been zipping through it all, trying to get all the facts and all this good stuff. And I've just been wasting time. It's now a Sunday, and the brand new work week is coming up, and I'm just really messed up over this because of all the stuff that I've had to dig through, the facts that I had to dig through, and I'm still having to dig through them. Unfortunately, time is not on my side. So much, almost a week has gone by, 4 days has gone by. So I'm just going to jump right to it then and talk about this BS that was stated. And I'm going to elaborate a little bit on it. But I want you to pay attention to these things that I'm saying, despite the fact that this is over here in Texas, as opposed to whatever state that you're in. And I want you to make sure to catch all the BS that I'm going to be talking about. And it's more than likely going to be the same BS that you guys are having to hear, more or less. As you all know, one of the main phrases that I stick to in order to keep talking about common sense on common ground is always to remember this one rule of thumb. It's all about the money. Belief is the tool. Okay? It's all about the money. Belief is the tool, and that's where I'm starting at right now with the money. I'll get to the belief part, but first I really gotta talk about the crap that just ticks me off to no end. Okay? Now he starts off with Texas is this great place. Texas, I'm speaking to you in a manufacturing company, blah blah blah, and he talks about rare earth elements. He's talking from a company called Novian that's critical in the field of rare metals and rare earth elements. Okay. They provide essential materials for things used every day, like refrigerators, trucks, MRIs, machines, oil rigs, even materials for ballistic missiles for America to defend itself. Here's where he goes. Most rare earth materials now come from China. If that supply is ever disrupted, many of the things we do every day would come to a halt. The future of Texas and the U.S. should not depend on China. We must embrace innovation like Novian to make Texas more self-reliant and to create our own products to secure Texas of tomorrow. Okay, now that's pretty big talk, given the simple fact that I can't bring up the dates right now, but I will in later recordings. Motiva, the biggest oil refinery that we've got here in Texas, that's Saudi owned. Okay, so he's talking about staying reliant, self-reliant, and all this stuff. Any disruption, and we all saw it through the gas prices, gas price gougings. Any disruptions from the oil refinery and gas companies and all that here in Texas, it's Motiva, and everything comes to a halt. And it virtually did. I mean, this country almost sank because of the complications that was being done with gas companies, gas price gouging, and oil refineries and gas refineries, fuel refineries from companies like Motiva or Aramco, which is the largest nationwide refinery. Not doing anything, not drilling anymore, not without the permits to drill on sacred land, wildlife preserves, offshore drilling, and taking oil from other countries, regardless as to whether or not it's in a country that a dictator is hurting their own people, like in Venezuela, Argentina, like over in Saudi Arabia. Okay, so here now back to 2023, where my Texas governor is saying, oh, we can't rely on these foreign people like China. And I bet you anything he said China, like the way Trump did. We We can't depend on them. Speaking of China, okay, here in Texas, and I can't find the article. I've been looking for it, but I can't find it. I can't find it yet. I'm sorry. But I'm going to remind you all, everybody, the largest light natural gas or liquid natural gas that's being produced here in Texas, okay, that's owned by a member of the CCP. He bought all this land. He bought hundreds of acres of land, drilled, and has this great light natural gas that's not for any of us to profit on, but it goes straight to the CCP. It's not even for China. It's not even for the Chinese citizens to profit on. It's just for whatever the Chinese Communist Party decides to do with it. And it's coming out of our Texas soil, USA. Okay, so for back to 2023, where my governor here is saying, oh, we can't rely on them. We can't rely on them. You know, we need to defend ourselves. We need to make ourselves more self-reliant. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Self-reliant. Okay, now that's also big talk coming from my governor. Okay, because he's in charge of ERCOT. I mean, like, he doesn't run it. But, you know, he appoints all these people and all this other crap. As sure as he's fired people from ERCOT and says, you're safer now. All the products are working. Everything's okay. You're safe now. You're welcome. Okay? Look, he talks a lot of crap. And this is going to bring, this big crap is going to bring a lot of big investment. This is the money part. Okay? The belief is the tool. The belief is that you honestly think that we're better off now. By him saying this, we have to be more self-reliant. We should not depend on China. Okay? We have to pretend and create our own products to secure the Texas of tomorrow. Okay? So bold, so whatever. But it's BS. Okay? The proof is in the pudding with Motiva. The fuel that's causing problems, the companies that deal with gas and fuel that aren't pressuring Saudi Arabia or Motiva or anybody affiliated with the oil rigs, not pressuring them. Instead, turn around and gas price gouge us. Okay? That's also here in Texas. It's in your state as well. Light natural gas owned by the CCP. That's a guy that says, well, I'm a former CCP member. No, well, it doesn't matter. He bought a bunch of land brought on by the CCP, drilled a lot of liquid natural gas or light natural gas, and has turned it over to the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, all underneath our current governor's nose. Okay? Maybe even as far back as his predecessor, Rick Perry. You know, and then he's talking about self-reliancy, like its own, we stand our own. Now, for a while, he could talk that crap until the freeze of February 2021, where that self-reliant crap, you know, got thrown right out of the window, and my own governor's, well, I'm firing a bunch of people, so there. Justice is served. No, over 200 people died because of that crap. Texans, and here he is talking about Texas proud, Texas of tomorrow. Texans have inherited a legendary pedigree, okay? A state first settled by brave pioneers willing to risk everything for the promise of freedom and opportunity. Texas is fulfilling that promise. That was his opening statement. And again, he's just talking a bunch of BS. Okay, another thing concerning the money. Okay, we are number one for exports and number one for Fortune 500 headquarters. And with that, I want to just, you know, instead of repeat everything, I want to remind everybody that here in Texas is the headquarters to Packers. Packers is a meat packing factory up north, I think in the Dakotas. Or Iowa, I can't remember, or Idaho. I'll get the information, I promise. where they were hiring at least 31. Oh, here it is. Huh. The registered address is in Macedonia, Ohio. However, Packer Sanitation Insurance Company contracted to work with slaughterhouse meat factories in Nebraska and Minnesota. Okay, they were busted for having about 31 minors working for them overnight, third shift, and they still had to go back to school and all this other crap and make everybody in the public look like they're just being normal kids. Okay, immigrants, by the way, migrants, who weren't being paid diddly squat. They were being paid below minimum wage out of a total of 3 slaughterhouses. Okay, this company, Packers, and another one, well, Packers and Packers Sanitation. Okay, they got busted for hiring a total of 31 kids and all this other crap. Minors, 17-year-olds, a 14-year-old, a 16-year-old, 3 aged 15 years of age, 1 that's 14, and a 13-year-old. Okay? And again, at least a dozen of them were at the most 17. And it wasn't for the reported injuries that they got and infections that they got, because Packers is also one of the ones that got in 2018 a salmonella. Oh, crap. Blah, 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 blah. Got the salmonella or listin or something like that in 2018. I feel so stupid right now for not having any of this prepped. They say you should script your posts. And I'm starting to agree. Okay? I can't find it. But this is the same place that got a recall done in 2018. Okay? And their headquarters, the thing that caught my attention of all when I found out about this, I thought it was about another immigration problem. And it is, because these were all immigrant children. But the thing that caught my attention on this article was that their jurisdiction, meaning all of the decisions to be made in a headquarters, is in Texas. Okay? So back to 2023, where my governor, Texas Governor Greg Abbott, is saying we're number one. Since I've been here, since I became governor of Texas, has added more than 1.9 million new jobs. We're also number one for exports. Yeah, we know about that. Light natural gas owned by CCP. And number one for Fortune 500 headquarters. Okay? Yeah, we found out about that too. Packers Sanitation Services Incorporated. Okay? PSSI. Okay? This is all about the money. Belief is the tool. By him saying that, we're number one with Fortune 500 headquarters. Well, that's bedazzlement. And everybody that looks at nothing but bedazzlement now believes that this is a good thing. Okay? Number one with exports. Bedazzlement. Ooh. They now believe that everything's okay. Even with the light natural gas not profiting any of us here in the U.S., let alone in Texas. Forget all of you in Pennsylvania. Forget all of you in California. You're not profiting off of any of this. Hell, the only people that are the ones that are invested in it, as well as the Chinese Communist Party, where all of the light natural gas is being shipped to. And I think that's still current here in Texas. Nothing's been done. Okay? Okay. Texas produced the largest budget surplus in Texas history. That money belongs to the taxpayer. We should return it to you with the largest property tax cut in the history of Texas. Now, there's a problem with this, because that's followed by our booming economy and growing population means we must bolster our infrastructure. Okay, soon to announce $100 billion plan to build transportation infrastructure. There's a problem with that due to one of the postings that I made somewhere in November. If you ever go back to scrolling through my episodes, I think it was November 3rd, talking about budgets diverted, okay, out of the prison budget, okay, for the border wall. Okay, and there's a list of other, excuse me, there's a list of other departments that have money diverted out of those diversions for his own personal agenda, which again was border security, which is the wall that's still not complete, not even standing, especially the parts that fell over after Donald Trump made it 10 feet higher. That wall fell over less than a year after it was built, 10 feet higher. It still hasn't been picked up. Okay? So for him to say, well, property taxes have to be cut and all this money should be returning to you and expect a $100 billion plan to build transportation infrastructure. Okay. Which means somewhere down the line, he's either going to divert money from other budgets, or he's going to take back what he said about returning the money back to you, the property tax cuts. I mean, not to me. I don't own any property, so I'm not going to be the one in trouble. But a lot of people are. A lot of good people who are paying their hard-earned money for their lands are. Okay? Now, we already went through a scare, 2020, just 3 years ago, with a bunch of people losing their jobs, losing pay, also losing their houses. Okay? It was too much. So for him to do this backtrack, which you know what's going to happen as sure as he diverts money and takes back everything that he says in the end. You know, he's saying all of this to sound good to secure a future for the next year's election. And despite the fact that it's another year. But this is the routine State of the State address, which a lot of your senators and governors and all them should be doing right about now, to get everybody into thinking that everything's going to be okay. Okay, and one of the things that he's done, as I've stated so many times, particularly when it comes to Biden and the infrastructure bill. Okay, $3 trillion, that one. $3 trillion spent out of a total of 10 years or less. It's usually more, but at the rate that things can go, it could go less. You know, like the way it was in the Clinton years and the way it was in Obama years. The lawsuit theory comes into play, where Greg Abbott sees something like that $550 billion free spending out of that first $1 trillion out of the $3 trillion free spending section of the infrastructure bill. And he just does these lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit in the name of national security by way of border security. And he's been pocketing the dough. If you don't remember, it was in July. I'll refresh your memory on the next one about Kennedy County, all of those people receiving checks in the hundreds of thousands up to $1.2 million that was coming out of diverted funds, as well as lawsuits suing the government, suing the Biden administration in the name of border security. Okay, so that's another way that he intends to say to uphold his $100 billion plan. Okay, and currently there's nothing proving me wrong. Excuse me, I got a dry cough. Sorry. There's nothing proving me wrong. Okay. Thanks to the legislators, per student funding is at an all-time high. Okay, that's also diverted funds, which again is not so. Okay, he's been trying to say that he's been putting money into students' education. On a technical level, no, he is not. Okay, on a technical level, in general, maybe. And that's simply because of the initiative tests that he declared after the 2022, I think it was March 2022 Uvalde elementary school shooting, Robb Elementary School in Uvalde County. Okay, he declared an initiative for security and tests and all this good stuff for our public schools in Texas. And technically, it was already the 2018 school initiative test for security measures, just revisited by adding more locks to all of the doors. Okay, that was his big plan. That's all that he did. It was the same strategy. I forgot what the politically correct term was. Threat assessment plan. But only now all these schools have new locks. And if they have new locks already, they have more locks. Okay? That is what he's talking about when he says that he's been playing an essential role in the state's education. You know? And he's trying to make it seem as if it is education that's being funded. Okay? Here he goes saying, in many public schools in Texas are excellent. In fact, we are the #1 for national blue ribbon schools and have one of the best high school graduate rates in the U.S. To be honest, that is actually news even to me. I'm usually used to hearing something about that. And I know here in San Antonio, with our Democratic mayor, yeah, school profits fundings and all this good shit is going straight to our schools and education, which is true. But here's the thing. Abbott has a tendency to take credit for that. Okay? He takes those stats and throws it into his pile and says, "You're welcome." Okay? And that's just BS. That's the sole reason for pointing all of this stuff out. You know, see if it looks familiar in your neck of the woods. Okay? Because I've got no problem repeating this horse crap that this guy is doing here in my state. And I'm sticking to my state. I'm telling y'all to stick to look at the players in your area, because here I'm sticking to my state because this is my Texas. This is my Lone Star state. I have every right to speak my mind about this. Okay. Oh, yes, the education savings account. Okay. People have freedom of choice and all this other stuff. He's thrown stuff like this in the initiative test, threat assessment test. Okay. He's thrown stuff like this to where if you honestly feel your school is a danger or whatever, you could take your kid out and all this stuff and choose the correct school and blah, 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 blah. Okay? That's the same crap that he's been talking about, but yet at the same time, he's pulling money out of those very same accounts. Okay? Education savings, juvenile justice system, where instead of kids go in to go through some kind of program to restore themselves, they come out just as bad as criminals, that full-grown adult criminals that got thrown in jail or prison and come out worse. Okay? That's the budget shifting that I'm referring to. Okay? When he diverts money from all of these accounts, this education savings account is going to be no different. Plain and simple. He hasn't done it yet. But I can honestly say that's what's going to happen. As sure as he's done it time and time again since 2015 when he first became governor. I can say that. And I'm saying this to spread the word. Watch out what's going on in your area. What's going on in your neck of the woods. Speak your mind. Let everybody know what the heck is going on here. Okay? What is going on your neck of the woods? Speak it. Let everybody know. The way I'm doing here on my end. Here in Texas, everybody's looking at California. Everybody's looking at Michigan. Everybody's looking at Florida. Hardly anybody's noticing Texas. Because hardly anybody's really standing up to Texas. There's usually this unity against all of you kind of vibe that goes on when it comes to Texas. And I'm partially guilty of that as well. I don't have a problem pointing out the failures and the bull crap that's going on here in my Lone Star state. But I do get defenses to anybody else that is not from here or has moved here and has done nothing but spit and spew. I'll snap back at any one of them in a heartbeat like that. And that is my Texas pride. I am guilty of that. But what I'm not guilty of is pointing out the bull crap instead of believing it. Okay? It's all about the money. Belief is the tool. Still sticking to the thing. To be clear, the money, not so much the belief. That's an entirely different video, and I do apologize, but it's got to come up. It's got to come up after I'm done with the money. You know, to be clear, under this school choice program, all public schools will be fully funded to every student. This is so vital to the future of our state that I am making an education freedom an emergency item. Children must have also safe schools, must establish the safest standards. I created the chief of school safety to mandate those standards. Okay, we cannot let another school year go by without making our schools safer. Back to the initiative test. The only thing that he has done is add more locks to schools, if not new ones. And it's the same initiative test, threat assessment test plan that he's done from as far back as 2018. The reason for that is because, or 2016, I can't remember what year. The reason for that is because of another school shooting that took place. He did this threat assessment plan and put it together, and that bought him, 5 more years. Here we are in 2023. Here he is saying the same babbling bull crap, using the same babbling method, and saying you're welcome. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to stop at half an hour, just under half an hour. And I'll be back with some more research. I got to get back to it because this guy wrote pages and paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs, and he's jumbled it all together with hype and rhetoric and fascism ideas, and just downright accusations, false accusations. And I'm going to get to it again in some more. In the meantime, keep looking out for anybody that's stating the bullcrap in their areas. Don't be surprised if others, kind of like the Young Turks and like Brian Tyler Cohen, they have a tendency to point out the BS wherever the BS pops up. And they're actually way better at it than I am. I'm just a guy with a voice. I'm a guy with a voice who works 9-to-5 job now. And an hourly wage, I punch on a clock. And I'm just, sharing my point of view. It has absolutely not, I'm not a journalist. I don't have a team. They do. So anything that they bring up, by all means, pay attention to. I'm doing this on Sunday, my day off. And trying to get as many as I can before the new week starts. So that's it for today. I'm going to get back to more and more. I'm going to talk about all of this stuff. And the reason for it is because this stuff is crap from the past that we can now see ahead of the future. And hopefully maybe 2024, we can make a difference. We can stop this BS with this bull malarkey, the same BS that we've got going here in Texas and in your state. Okay? Y'all stay safe out there. Y'all take care. Y'all take it easy. I got to get rid of this dry cough. Take care. This is Chris with Chris's Comments, signing out.